Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode. We have some really big news for Season 5. We just got the Outpost conquest information. If you don't know, in Season 5, there are going to be outposts similar to Season 1, where you had to plant an outpost in another war zone in order to be able to start taking cities and such. This is very similar to that, except for the outposts are already set up in specific spots throughout the map. This is the center section around the map here, and there are 8 outposts, 8 servers, so every server starts off with their own outpost. You rebuild it. Once it's rebuilt, it's there, and then after that, you then need to defend yours or attack others throughout the rest of the season. And that is going to be during week 5, 6, and 7. If you watch my last episode on the Outpost, you will know that every single player, not just alliances or whatever, every single player that is on your warzone should be able to participate in rebuilding your outpost for your server. Whoever helps contributing the most to rebuilding is who will take control of the outpost at the end of the day. So make sure your whatever alliance that you want to take control is the one that's contributing the most. And they will take control once it's fully rebuilt. It's going to take several days because you need a lot to rebuild this. So feel free to go check out that other episode if you wanted more information on how to rebuild these and what it's going to take. But once you get started in week 5 of season 5, that is when you're going to be able to start planning your attacks. And you're going to need to touch each of the warzone outposts that you want to attack. So if you are not touching those, and that could be your alliance has, say, a bank, or your sister brother alliance also has a bank or a city next to that outpost, you can attack it. Anybody can attack it from the same server as long as you have land attached to it from another alliance from the same server. So if we look at this here, you'll notice that we can attack this outpost here, the bottom left outpost here. We have ours that we're protecting. We can attack this one here, the bottom right, and then the left side or the right side in the center here, we can attack this because of this bank here held by our Big Brother Alliance. So because those are all touching each of these outposts here, we are able to attack these on Friday when they open up. We will have to then push up the map towards this outpost here and take some kind of land, a bank around this outpost in order to capture it and be able to fight for it next week. So here's the information regarding the attacking and defending and when these are going to be available to attack and defend. So the first week, it's going to be on Friday. The following week, same time, it's going to be that Friday at 9 a.m., basically 12 hours post reset. So if your Friday reset is, say 3 a.m., it's going to be 3 p.m. for you 12 hours after. So, just convert it to whatever it is. But it's basically the typical time of any set war time. So whenever your Warzone duel, your capital battles are, or your trade post battles, it's all going to be around the same time, except for it's going to be on a Friday. And here are the instructions here. Once an alliance connects to a Warzone outpost, all members of that Warzone can participate in its attack and defense. So attacking, defending, everybody can participate in that, which is pretty interesting. Obviously, the more depth you have as an entire server, the better this is going to go for you overall. So this is going to be pretty interesting to watch and see how this plays out with, say you have a mega whale on one alliance in a server, but they don't really have that much depth, and you're going up against a server that has a ton of depth. And we're going to see kind of how that plays out, if it's similar to Warzone Duel, Capital Wars, or not. And then the next thing, when attacking a Warzone outpost, capture progress is accumulated among members of the same Warzone. So no matter who is attacking from your Warzone, you're all contributing to that, the capture progress. So you want to have more players active. And then you'll also want to make sure that whoever is going to capture it is doing the highest contribution. So line item number 3, if you skip to the bottom, it says during a capture, the alliance with the highest contribution will control the outpost. So you want to make sure you have all your players online, or at least you're contributing a lot to the capture in order to make sure that you actually take control once it is seized. And then at the end of the day, at the end of the battle, if the Warzone outpost is not fully captured, the owner will retain it. So you won't have to worry about if time expires, if the battle's still going on. You will still control it if they do not fully seize it. So similar to trade posts and any other war, essentially. As long as it's not fully defeated, you will own it. There won't be any issues. And then the other thing here, once an outpost is taken, it grants influence points to all alliances in the war zone. So this can be pretty big here. And let's take a look at the rewards just to see how this all plays out. So influence points is what helps you place in the top here. So you need to be either number 1 in influence points here, or 2 to 3 to get these top rewards here. So this is a great way if you have a server that's capturing a lot of these trade posts or the outposts here. This is a great way to help your entire server place higher in those rewards. So I think this is a really cool way to get all alliances engaged and just to help promote points and helping out, the big alliances, helping out the smaller alliances, and everybody getting good rewards, which is nice. It's not just a, hey, one alliance all for itself kind of thing. So there's a lot of ways you can work around getting some good rewards for a lot of alliances here. And then each one of these is going to give you 100,000 alliance or influence points. So that's going to go to every single alliance, which is pretty cool. And there's going to be 8 of these. So if you have 8 of these, that's 800,000. And then let's take a look at a city here. So level 10 city, this is going to give you 150 or 1.5 million influence points. So if you think about that, if you have one alliance that helps conquer 8 of these outposts, Warzone outposts, that is like the equivalent of taking almost one level 8 city. That's going to be huge for some of the smaller alliances that are having a hard time capturing property in the middle here. Maybe they want to spread out and capture some land on the exterior of the central area. But that 800,000 is going to give them a huge leg up in where they finish in the season rewards. And then also looking at the outposts and some strategies with this. The other thing is typically when you're looking at top rewards, if you compare the number 1 settlement rewards with any of the challenge rewards, you will see that any of the challenge rewards, even the lowest one, is still better than the original rewards for just placing first in influence points. So if you look at this and you want to work on a strategy with a number 1 and number 2 alliance on a server, if you have that kind of power, maybe you can do something like take a Golden Palace and 4 level 10 cities for one alliance, and then the bigger alliance maybe goes for all 8 outposts and pushes to get those rewards. Because then you have 2 alliances that are able to go for the challenge rewards here. This could be extremely tricky, but if you plan it right, you can have 2 alliances that get some crazy good rewards, including some T11 resources. Little side quest here, you do get some boxes for helping either attack or defend during these outpost fights. So if you want to make sure that you get yourself some honor medals and some coffee beans and some other resources, make sure you're online to help with those fights and get yourself some good rewards there. But that's pretty much it, guys. We'll wait and see what these battles look like on Friday. I'll probably take a video and see how these things play out, kind of the timing of it, how active, how big the fights actually end up getting. It is very interesting because if you think about it, it's kind of like a capital battle, but on these little outposts. So there's not a big mud area, and you do have cannons. So I believe you're going to be able to hold these cannons to help defend as well, similar to a capital fight. So you'll have to surround here, and we'll have to see how this actually plays out. Very, very interesting. And there's going to be a lot of fights happening all at the same time because it's like the trade posts in Season 5 where they all open at once. All the Warzone outposts are all going to open at once. So you're going to have to attack and defend a lot of different locations at the same time. The last thing to note here is if anybody takes a Warzone outpost from your server, anybody else from that server is able to then take banks or move over to other cities from that outpost. So not only do outposts help whatever alliance is going to take them, but all the other servers or other alliances in your server will be able to use that then to move, maybe hop from, maybe they were working on the right side, and now they can hop over to the left side and start working on the left side too. So yeah, guys, lots of strategies to come out of this. We'll have to wait and see how things play out, what this looks like. Pretty exciting though. I like the way that they did this. So far, they've added some pretty good twists to it. So we'll just have to see how this actually plays out. And that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.